What if I told you an empire that lasted over 600 years once spanned 3 continents and shaped the world as we know it today? In this video, we're diving into the incredible rise and fall of the Ottoman Empire, exploring key moments like its golden age, slow decline, and eventual collapse. We'll also uncover how the empire's fall led to the birth of modern-day Turkey. Stick around as we take you through this epic historical journey. The rise of the Ottoman Empire. Let's start at the beginning. The Ottoman Empire didn't just appear overnight. It was built over centuries. In the 11th century, nomadic Turkic tribes began migrating westward, settling in what we now call Turkey. But they weren't just any tribe, they were the Ottomans. Imagine a group of people traveling across a vast land, hoping to settle and grow, unaware of the empire they would build. By the 13th century, these Ottomans found themselves at the center of a new world. The Mongols, with their incredible empire, were sweeping through Asia and causing chaos. Many scholars, merchants, and artisans fled to the Ottomans to escape the Mongol rule. This was an important moment because it helped the Ottomans develop a strong economy, which they would later use to fund their military campaigns. By the mid-14th century, the Ottomans were no longer just a small tribe. They were a powerful principality, and it began to expand their territory. They conquered parts of the Balkans, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East, eventually making Constantinople, now Istanbul, their capital. But what made their rise so special? It wasn't just their military strength, it was their ability to adapt. The Ottomans borrowed the best ideas from nearby cultures, like the Greeks, Iranians, and Arabs, and mixed them to create their own highly effective systems of government. The Golden Age, conquests, expansion, and tolerance. Let's step into the 16th century, the height of the Ottoman Empire. Imagine an empire that stretches across 3 continents. This was the time of Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, one of the most famous rulers in history. Under his rule, the Ottomans were at their peak, and their military was feared by every nation. The Ottomans were not just expanding in territory, but also influence, becoming a central figure in European and Asian politics. But the Ottomans weren't just powerful on the battlefield. They were known for something rare in many empires at the time: tolerance. The empire was home to many different cultures and religions. Jews, Christians, and Muslims all lived together in peace, and the Ottomans didn't force anyone to convert. Instead, they required a special tax from non-Muslims, but aside from that, everyone was free to practice their religion. This made the Ottoman Empire one of the most tolerant places in the world at the time. Wouldn't it be amazing if all empires had this level of respect for different beliefs? Yet, despite this progress, the empire began to change. The sultans, who were once active in governing, began ruling from their palaces, and the imperial harem, with its powerful family members, started to influence decisions. What does this mean? It meant that the sultans were less involved in day-to-day affairs, and over time, the empire became harder to manage. It's fascinating to think that the personal lives of the sultans played such a big role in the fate of an entire empire. The slow decline, infighting, corruption, and external pressure. Let's take a moment and imagine this. An empire that once seemed unstoppable is now starting to crack. It wasn't just that they stopped conquering lands. By the late 17th century, Europe, which once looked up to the Ottomans, was catching up. European countries were becoming stronger, wealthier, and more advanced. Meanwhile, the Ottomans were dealing with infighting among their elite class, political corruption, and an unwillingness to adopt new technologies and ideas. Now, what do you think happens when an empire becomes too confident in its superiority? It starts to get complacent, right? The Ottomans still believed they were the strongest force in the world, and they ignored the rise of Europe. While Europe was advancing with new weapons, better trade routes, and stronger economies, the Ottomans remained stuck in the past. One significant blow to the empire occurred in 1683 when the Ottomans tried to conquer Vienna. They failed, and a coalition of European nations pushed them back. This defeat marked the beginning of the end for the empire in Europe. From then on, the Ottomans would slowly lose territory, not only to Europeans but also to other rising powers like Russia. The empire's weakening military power also meant that new regional powers like Iran and Russia started challenging Ottoman influence, particularly in strategic areas like the Balkans and the Black Sea. Over time, the once unmatched Ottoman military prowess became less feared and more vulnerable to these rising forces. The Ottoman Empire's fall, losing control, and World War I. Let's fast forward a bit to the 19th century. Imagine the empire, once mighty and all-powerful, now surrounded by new ideas, new countries, and new forces. The world was changing rapidly. Nationalism, the idea that people should be united by a common identity, began spreading across Europe. For the Ottomans, who ruled over a vast, diverse empire with many ethnic groups and religions, this was a huge challenge. So, what did the Ottomans do? They tried to hold on. However, as the empire got weaker, different regions began to demand more independence. Serbia, Greece, and others broke free, and European powers started carving up the Ottoman lands. The empire's struggle to control its vast territories and maintain authority over nationalist movements ultimately led to more instability. By the early 20th century, the empire was just a shadow of its former self. It was embroiled in World War I, and when the war ended in 1918, the empire was officially dismantled. The Treaty of Sèvres in 1920 split the Ottoman lands between European powers, and by 1923, the Republic of Turkey was born under Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. The birth of modern Turkey, a new beginning. And here's where things get interesting. The Ottoman Empire fell, but something new and powerful was rising from its ashes: Turkey. Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, the leader of the Turkish War of Independence, decided not to restore the empire, but to build something entirely new. Can you imagine having to start fresh after centuries of empire rule? Ataturk set out to create a modern, secular, and democratic nation-state. He introduced reforms that included the adoption of a new alphabet, secular education, and women's rights. His vision was clear: Turkey would be modern, progressive, and distinct from its Ottoman past. Ataturk's dedication to modernizing Turkey was so influential that even in today's society, his reforms still shape the nation's political and cultural identity. He believed in a vision where Turkey could compete globally, setting aside its imperial history in favor of a modern nation-state. Turkey in 2025, innovation and challenges. Let's take a leap to 2025 and see where Turkey stands today. Turkey may no longer be an empire, but it's a key player in the global world. Under the leadership of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, Turkey continues to grow, develop, and face new challenges. Turkey's economy has been evolving, and in 2025, it's still one of the largest economies in the region. Its major industries like textiles, electronics, and automotive manufacturing are growing stronger each year. The country has become an important hub for trade between Europe and Asia, with its strategic location making it a vital connection point between East and West. But what about technology? Well, in recent years, Turkey has become a leader in drone technology, and its defense industry is rapidly growing. Turkish drones are now used worldwide in both military and civilian sectors, and the country is increasingly seen as an innovator in defense and technology. Infrastructure is another area where Turkey has made strides. Istanbul, once the capital of the Ottoman Empire, is now a bustling metropolis with a massive, modern airport, one of the largest in the world. With a network of highways, railways, and even the ambitious Istanbul Canal project, Turkey is positioning itself to be a major global player in trade and logistics. Of course, challenges remain. Turkey faces political tensions, both at home and with its neighbors. There are issues like inflation, unemployment, and economic inequality, but the country continues to move forward. Turkey's growing influence in the Middle East and Europe makes it a crucial player in international politics. From the rise of a small tribe to the vast Ottoman Empire, and then to the creation of modern-day Turkey, this story is filled with triumph, transformation, and reinvention. Turkey may not be an empire anymore, but it's still a country with an incredible history and an exciting future. If you enjoyed learning about the Ottoman Empire and Turkey's journey through history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's so much more history to explore, and we can't wait to take you on the next adventure through time.